Breaking news tonight on ABC 17 News at 10. The Columbia Fire Department is investigating a possible arson. I have my tape measure this time. If you take a look, the sidewalk here is buckled about 8 inches. Another man is also charged in Vandalia, accused of shooting a woman with an airsoft gun. Everyone, I'm here at the home of Val Gurman. He's on the board of directors of the Central Missouri Astronomical Association. Tonight, a long road to recovery in Texas continues from the destruction of Hurricane Harvey. Just 2 days ago, Willis took deputies here to an area off Red Arrow Road and led them into the woods here to a 55-gallon drum filled with a dismembered body. Here, this is as close we can get, but if you look behind me here, that second set of lights, that is further down the road where authorities are investigating. And for the latest track on Irma, we'll go now to ABC 17 storm track meteorologist Aaron Morrison. And Aaron, the storm has weakened significantly since it made landfall. Yeah. We first told you about the proposed $1,000 to city employees last week. As of this afternoon, Sheriff Mike Neal told me they still needed to speak to another at least 10 witnesses and still look at the video surveillance on the school bus. Now, we're going to continue to stay on scene as long as this crash is here. We'll continue to update you with any new information we get, including when the interstate reopens. You can find that information online at abc17news.com. In just over 20 hours, mid-Missouri will have a front row view to Eclipse 2017. Within the last hour, I was able to confirm that the Columbia Police Department right now is working to get a search warrant. Happy Friday, mid-Missouri. It's 5 o'clock right now, and here's a look at the stories we're working on today. I'm not so sure how the kids were doing it because when I was just standing and watching and walking around the park, I was sweating pretty bad, and as Chief Meteorologist Sharon Ray just said, it's going to be just as hot. Parents, on average, will spend $114 on things like pencils and erasers for back-to-school shopping. MIZZOU football's defensive coordinator is out. Head coach Barry Odom fired DeMontie today. ABC 17 sports director Andrew Kaufman joins me now to explain why Odom made the move. I went behind the scenes of several trainings to find out how our mid-Missouri communities are preparing. Oh, my soul. For many, church is a sanctuary on Sunday morning. But in recent years, those sanctuaries have also become a target.
Hopefully it never happens, obviously, but it's one of those things where we want to be prepared.
Richland Baptist pastor Nick Drake tells me about 2 years ago, church leaders decided to bring in the Callaway County Sheriff's Department to teach them the basics of what to do during an active shooter. They now lock every door to the church during the service.
You always think if a shooter comes, you should just, take cover or run, but, actually one of the things they will teach you is start throwing things at them. Grab a hymnal and chuck it.
This is a drill. This is a drill.
Churches aren't the only places taking safety precautions.
Smart run, guys. Come on.
The drills are fast.
We describe it as an unorganized fire drill.
And the training is intense.
Move! People are dying!
Designed to simulate a real-life active shooter situation.
It's an event that we never want to see happen in any community.
For this story, we suited up in a bulletproof vest and mask for training with Holt Summit Police and Callaway County Sheriff deputies.
Police! Police!
We're not waiting for a SWAT team. When that first officer gets that call and he arrives on scene, he's coming in. He or she's coming in without backup.
Holt Summit Assistant Chief Shannon Jeffries tells me he's had more schools, churches, and even businesses coming to him for training.
It's probably just because of today's day and age and having more active shooter events across the country. A lot of people are starting to prepare themselves better.
Right now, the U.S. is averaging nearly 14 active shooter incidents each year, killing more than 600 people and injuring 800 more since 2000. More than a quarter of those incidents happening in the past 3 years. What made you want to have your church go through some type of training like this?
There is the combination of just the awareness that it could happen, that we need to be prepared, but also the people that have gone through it and have seen how beneficial it is.
But the tactics are changing.
We used to teach lockdowns, where you just literally lock down in your room, you pull the shades and you hid in a corner, and that's just not the right thing.
The thing you should do most is get out.
Some tell me the hide and run, hide, fight is outdated.
If I was to hide under this table over here, is that doing any good? We know that active shooters are looking for victims of opportunity.
While others say hiding and locking down is still a good first start.
You've got to do something first. And your first thing is to get behind something that's safe and secure.
But all agree you need to run or get away from the danger as quick as possible.
Evacuation is the key. If you can get out, you get out.
Last week, teachers, social workers, businesses, and law enforcement from across the state came to Mid-Missouri to become certified in active shooter training.
Things like this happen all the time, and you can't take the mindset of it's not going to happen where we are. You have to be ready for anything.
What they learned in an intense, hands-on 2 days is what they'll go teach to their communities.
And this is really the most important because it trains those that are truly involved in the mix.
Pastor Drake tells me he knows of other churches that take even more safety precautions.
You know, there's definitely more we could do. We could definitely be more prepared, or there's probably more things we could do to kind of be ready if something were to happen, or even to take precautions.
State law passed in 2013 requires all school districts in Missouri to participate in active shooter training. That training is included in the district's budgets.